In the late 1960s, a series of terrifying crimes gripped Northern California. But beyond the acts themselves, a chilling game of cat and mouse began, played out in the pages of the nation's newspapers. The perpetrator, who called himself the Zodiac, wasn't content with just committing crimes. He demanded public attention, and his chosen method was the written word, delivered directly to the press. This is the story of the letters, the codes, and the relentless hunt for a killer who hid in plain sight, taunting the very people trying to catch him. On August 1st, 1969, 3 nearly identical letters arrived at the offices of the San Francisco Examiner, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the Vallejo Times-Herald. Each letter contained details only the killer could know, proving their authenticity. But they also contained a demand. The sender insisted that each newspaper publish a strange 3-part cryptogram on their front page. If they failed to comply, he threatened to go on a killing rampage that weekend. The message was clear. This was not just a killer, but a manipulator, using the media as his stage. At the top of these letters was a peculiar symbol, a circle with a cross drawn through it, like the crosshairs of a rifle sight. This would become his infamous signature, the mark of the Zodiac. Its meaning has been debated for decades. Is it a reference to the Zodiac watch brand, known for its own crosshair logo and slogan as individual as your signature? Or did it have a more esoteric astrological meaning? Whatever its origin, the symbol served its purpose perfectly. It was instantly recognizable, creating a brand of terror that would embed itself in the public consciousness for generations. The name Zodiac and this chilling symbol were now inseparable from the fear he spread. The newspapers, faced with an ethical dilemma and a potential threat to public safety, complied. They published the cipher, a jumble of 408 strange symbols, hoping the public could do what law enforcement could not: crack the code. The killer had claimed that his identity was hidden within it, the entire Bay Area, and soon the nation was captivated. Amateur and professional codebreakers alike poured over the cryptic message. It was a race against time, not just to solve a puzzle, but to potentially unmask a killer and prevent more tragedy. The pressure was immense. Just over a week later, the puzzle was solved, not by the FBI or the NSA, but by a high school teacher from Salinas, California, Donald Hardin, and his wife Betty. They approached it as a homophonic substitution cipher, where one letter in the plaintext could be represented by multiple different symbols in the ciphertext, making it much harder to crack than a simple one-to-one substitution. Working diligently over a weekend, they began to recognize patterns. They noticed recurring symbols and guessed they might represent common letters like E, T, or A. They looked for double symbols, which often stand for double letters like LL or SS. Slowly, painstakingly, a message began to emerge from the chaos of symbols. It was a rambling, misspelled tirade. The message began: "I like killing people because it is so much fun." It went on to describe a twisted belief that the people he had killed would become his slaves in the afterlife. But there was a glaring omission. The one piece of information everyone was desperate for, the killer's name, was not there. The Zodiac had lied. He had dangled the ultimate prize in front of the world, only to snatch it away, reveling in the frustration and fear he was causing. The solution to the 408 cipher was a major breakthrough, but it only deepened the mystery and heightened the sense of being toyed with. The Zodiac was far from finished. He would send more letters and more ciphers. In November 1969, another, more complex cryptogram arrived, this one containing 340 characters. Known as the Z340, it would go on to stump even the most brilliant minds for over 51 years. For 5 decades, this collection of symbols remained one of the most famous unsolved codes in history. Generations of investigators and hobbyists tried and failed to unlock its secrets. Its difficulty led to endless speculation. Did it contain his name? A location? Or was it simply a meaningless prank designed to waste time and resources? The silence of the Z340 was perhaps more terrifying than the taunts of the first cipher. Then, in December of 2020, came a stunning announcement. A team of private citizens, American software developer David Orenchuk, Belgian programmer Jarl van Eyck, and Australian mathematician Sam Blake had finally cracked the Z340 cipher. Using sophisticated software and sheer determination, they unraveled the code's complex structure, which involved reading the symbols in a diagonal, zigzagging pattern. The decrypted message was another chilling, self-aggrandizing rant. It read, in part, "I hope you are having lots of fun and trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner, because I now have enough slaves to work for me." Again, no name. And again, the chilling misspelling of paradise. The solution was a monumental achievement, but it brought investigators no closer to his identity. Even today, other shorter Zodiac ciphers remain unsolved, their secrets still locked away. For the police departments involved, Vallejo, Napa, San Francisco, the investigation was a logistical nightmare. In the late 1960s and early 70s, interdepartmental communication was a fraction of what it is today. Jurisdictions were siloed. Evidence and information were shared through phone calls and memos, a slow and often inefficient process. There was no centralized database, no instant sharing of files or forensic data. The Zodiac Killer operated across multiple counties, and this fragmented approach to law enforcement worked to his advantage. He exploited the gaps in communication, knowing that the right hand of the investigation often didn't know what the left hand was doing. This lack of coordination led to missed opportunities and mounting frustration for the detectives on the case. With few physical clues to go on, investigators turned to the emerging field of criminal profiling. They tried to build a picture of the man behind the letters. From the content and style of his writing, they pieced together a psychological sketch. He was clearly intelligent, but also egotistical and arrogant, desperate for recognition. Spelling errors were a point of debate. Were they genuine mistakes, or a deliberate ploy to make himself appear less educated than he was? Profilers believed he was likely a loner, socially awkward, and felt powerless in his everyday life. Committing these crimes and taunting the police gave him a sense of power and control he otherwise lacked. They pictured a man who read The Most Dangerous Game, a short story he referenced in a letter, and saw himself as the ultimate hunter. This profile, while insightful, was still just a theory. It gave them a type of person to look for, but in a city of millions, it was like searching for a ghost. The Zodiac's reign of terror was defined by his letters, a one-sided conversation that held an entire region captive. He turned his crimes into a public spectacle, a puzzle for the world to solve, ensuring his own infamy. The investigation revealed the limitations of law enforcement at the time. The cryptographic battle highlighted a chilling intellect at work. But while two of his major ciphers have been solved, the core of the mystery remains. Who was the man who derived so much pleasure from killing, and even more from telling the world about it? His identity is the one code that has never been broken. And while the letters and ciphers provided a tantalizing look into the mind of the killer, the investigation on the ground was generating its own list of names and faces. Police were inundated with tips, and several individuals came under intense scrutiny, their lives turned upside down by suspicion. In the next part, we will examine the key suspects in the Zodiac case, the evidence that pointed toward them, and the reasons why, after all these years, none of them were ever definitively proven to be the man who haunted Northern California.